Immigration doesn't automatically give you a better life.
Before you romanticize coming to a different country, think of how much it's going to cost, but also, can I achieve that? Can I actually do this, right?
The immigrant experience, it doesn't end after you become a permanent resident or a citizen. It only changes. You were already a trained pharmacist before coming to Canada.
I came to Canada for my master's actually. I was looking for public health jobs. I wasn't really getting anything.
What did stability look like for your kids?
When we think about stability, means that there is no change, there's constant. But when you think about life, there is no such thing. Even if you're not moving countries, there's always change happening.
In another country far away from home, we left the village behind, experiencing loss.
The loss was quite devastating, and it was traumatic.
When I gave birth to my twins, we had actually landed in an NICU for 3 weeks. And in moments like that, you need your family.
You came here on a 1-year plan. What was it that after a year, you're like, you know what, let's just stay?
Yeah.
That the people in the Himalayas are known to be some of the happiest people.
Oh, wow.
The temperatures up there get so cold that they don't have enough firewood for the winter. People can die. But they're happy. So why did we move? Why did we do this? It feels kind of crazy. So I was watching Pole to Pole with Will Smith recently, right? It's a National Geographic documentary. And he went to Bhutan to explore the idea of happiness, okay? And what really stood with me with that episode is that Bhutan is kind of known for gross national happiness, for whatever, measurement. And how they do it there is that they're not measuring it based on success, they're not measuring it on money the way we do it in the West, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because me doing this series, going through Mom-Versations, having these conversations with my daughter, with my mom, myself, reflecting with other moms, it made me think about immigration. Like, why do we do it? And in Bhutan, their measurement of happiness is time, it's relationships, it's culture, it's belonging, and the people that you can reach when things feel heavy. So why do we move? Why did we do this? It feels kind of crazy. And of course, there are people who are from war-stricken countries who are having to leave for safety reasons, for different things. But many of us, and the biggest immigration numbers in Canada, usually come from economic immigration, right? And it's many of us who are coming for a different version of life, sometimes termed as better life, better opportunity, better income, better school, better systems, better futures for our children. And Mom-Versations showed us across the entire series that immigration doesn't automatically give you a better life. It doesn't automatically give you anything. You can get some status out of it, yes, but maybe it gives us the opportunity to rebuild a new life, a better life. But how do we even define what better actually means? That's what this series has made me think about. And there's an email actually I got this morning. Thank you so much for the people who decide to reach out to me, who drop comments. I really appreciate it. I read everyone and I get everyone. I may not get the chance to respond to everyone. I will respond to this mom, but she said something that basically summarizes how I feel about this series. She said, "I've been praying that God would help me not to fantasize or romanticize the idea of immigration, but instead to approach it with wisdom and a healthy dose of realism." Right? Because I think that everything is romanticized. Coming to Canada, being a parent, being a mom, having kids, everything is made to be this thing, and immigration kind of is coated in a paint of opportunity. I was telling you that, right? This is Alex, by the way. I'll introduce him soon. But when we move, it doesn't just change our address, right? And we're going to hear from this first generation Canadian over here. We change our family systems. We change the village. We change how children grow up, how children are parented. It changes how many kids we choose to have. Immigration affects almost every aspect of our lives, way beyond what we signed up for, way beyond what we realized when we embarked on this journey. The village, the grandparents, the aunties, the cousins, all of that, the people who we know that would be there, what I was there when I was growing up, aren't here anymore. This is Mom-Versations, as told by Canadian Immigrants, a special limited series through the lens of immigrant mothers and their kids. And we are live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca. I'm your host, Christina McPherson, and today I am joined by Alex.
Hello.
Hello, Alex.
How are you?
I am great. It is great to have you. You have actually been a part of the series, literally behind the scenes.
I have been, yes.
Capturing all that content that you're seeing on Instagram and such, the man behind the camera right here. But Alex is actually coming into this conversation as a first-generation Canadian. Your parents are from Yugoslavia.
Yes.
Which is now?
Serbia.
Geography 101. Okay, but before we get into this clips, right, you're not reflecting, or it's not just a reflection of me as an immigrant mother, it's also a conversation with somebody who has been watching the series through the lens of the child of an immigrant.
Yes, for sure.
You didn't sign up for this, did you?
No. And I didn't know, and, being born and raised here in Canada, I never really understood what immigration was, right? So I never really had to experience it until I started coming to college and seeing like different people of different cultures coming together.
Okay. That's deep. Understanding what immigration is, which is important because, a lot of the news reports, complaints and such, I think are from a place of misunderstanding. They don't really understand the system that is immigration, why do we even come here anyway? We're gonna talk about that in a second. But before we get into the clips, because we're gonna be looking back at some of the episodes that we've already been through, Mom-Versations. Alex, what stood out to you the most working on this series?
Yeah, working on the series, it was definitely an eye-opener, but the episode 2 with Adrian Morrison really kind of caught my eye because I never even knew what our ESP, let alone our DSP was, right? So, and then having, that kind of structure, it really got me. And then filming the behind the scenes for that episode, I got to hear bits and pieces, but then fully watching the episode after it's edited all that stuff, it was like, wow, I had jumped out my computer just to log in to see if I can sign up for anything like that. And you've grown up here. I did.
You grew up here, right? And so that's so I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm happy that that was able to be an aha moment for you. And that's the purpose of this series is, yes, we're going to talk about the emotional layer that is immigration and how motherhood and parenting and all that stuff is affected by it. But more than anything too, it's practical. Some practical tips, some things that you probably didn't know about or you didn't know that you didn't know, and you should share it and tell your friends. So please, if you are watching this right now, can you take a moment to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button? It helps YouTube know that this is worth watching, and it helps other people to see it, watch it, and do the same. So I appreciate that. Now, Alex, we're going to reflect on the question, why do we move? And that has been coming up a lot for me walking through this series. I'm having conversations with my cousins who live in New York who didn't know my grandparents. Right? Because
Really?
I lived across the street from my grandparents. They lived in the US.
Oh. Interesting.
So the question, why we move, is sometimes for economic reasons, but sometimes for other reasons. So let's hear from Norma and Natasha.
Well, we came to Canada with my husband and my daughter. She was 1 year old and 15 days old at that time, because I just want to make my mother happy. That's what she wants. For all of us, 6 siblings, to be in Canada. And I'm the only one in the Philippines back then. And the 4 of them were here. And my eldest brother is in California. So she said, come and be here with us. It's beautiful here. But it's also beautiful in the Philippines. we are ready to live a life together as a family, and we're ready and prepared to live as family and be productive. But overall, we want to make my mom happy, so we're here.
I have an 8-year-old. Her name is Malika Jade, and she's the reason for everything, basically. She was born in Jamaica. We weren't sure. We didn't get a diagnosis of what she had. So when she was born, we realized that something was wrong. She was a typical child. So we decided that let's seek out some information on what's happening. We get recommendation to get some assessment, but assessment in Jamaica takes forever. And it takes forever. So we were like, okay, let's see how we can speed this up. And it wasn't working in Jamaica. We done a few tests, and they didn't come up with a diagnosis as yet. So when we decided in 2019 that we're going to come to Canada because I have family here, and they're like, okay, they have good health care here, and the first world country, and they will be able to assist. So like, okay, let's make that decision. Let's move. And then we moved in 2019 when she was 2.5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right? And two different reasons. So those two clips, two different reasons. One is family, one is their child's needs. And across the series, this kept showing up. Immigration is rarely just one reason. And it's usually hope, it's pressure, it's duty, it's timing, it's survival, and possibility all mixed up together. And so when I say immigration is largely misunderstood, that's part of it too. It's that if people were able to just either zoom out or zoom in, whichever direction they need to go, to really understand the human behind the decision. Why did they do it? Because they came because of their children. And I know other families who have also, who were fine. Like the parents were living quite happy lives where they were and decided to move for their kids, which is a sacrifice that they have to make for their kids. But there are trade-offs.
Right.
Now, when you hear these reasons, what stands out to you as someone who's born here, but also do you even know why did your parents come to Canada?
When I hear that, it just makes me feel like, wow, like there's a lot of things you have to do, right? Like just like paperwork and all this stuff. But one of the reasons my parents moved was they wanted a comfortable life. They wanted something different, right? My mom said that they didn't have like indoor plumbing. They had to use like an outhouse and all that stuff. They lived like on a farm that was like more on the poor side. So definitely what they wanted. And then my great aunt kind of said, hey, why don't you come to Canada? And then that's how Jump started.
Interesting. And when did you find out that?
This morning. Isn't that crazy?
It is. It is very crazy because you've been living the life of a first generation Canadian. You don't maybe know much about your parents before Canada.
It wasn't really talked about, really. So it was just like, this is my story, right?
Deep. And I just realized there's a part I left out of at the very beginning when I spoke about the gross national happiness in Bhutan, is that the people in the Himalayas are known to be some of the happiest people.
Oh, wow.
They only recently got either electricity or running water. Okay, only recently.
Wow.
And the temperatures up there get so cold that people die because it's so cold. If they don't have enough firewood for the winter, people can die.
Wow.
But they're happy. Because the thing is that it's not about stuff, it's not about things. And we spoke about the measurement of happiness isn't about material or money or success. It's community. They have a collective happiness. They do a lot of together stuff.
Yeah, and people have the stuff here, but are not happy.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And so why do people move, right? It's for different reasons. But I think what stood out to me about the people in the Himalayas is that sometimes happiness is right where you are with the people. It's just that we romanticize and we think it's going to be better somewhere else. And sometimes it is. I'm not going to dismiss that, right? And I wouldn't give back my passport for nothing. But I think just that reality that there are people living in the mountains where it's super cold and they're happy.
Yeah, and it, like for the romanticized, like I wanted to work on a cruise ship.
Oh, yes.
And like going to travel through all that stuff, but also it's like there's a lot of paperwork. I would leave family behind, like, right? So you get caught up on the perfect life, right?
Yeah, the opportunity.
And
you don't even know if you'll get seasick.
I don't know.
You don't know. See? But you didn't think about that, right?
No.
And immigration is the same thing, because it's like a nice little ball and it's like coated in a paint of opportunity. And yes, there's opportunity, but underneath that paint is the real, the raw truth.
Is the old paint.
The old paint. True.
Right?
Right? You are what? Wherever you go, there you are. That's the saying. Wherever you go, there you are. You still have family, you still have problems, you still have people, and just moving isn't going to do that. And yes, there's opportunity, but there's also trade-offs. And this is one big aha moment for me. And I reflected about it in episode 1 a bit.
Right.
And I think that the immigrant population, especially the temporary resident population right now, really needs to understand that. And I don't want to downplay it, right? Because status and stability through status is important, right? And it adds to that mental state of stability. You don't have to worry about where I'm going to live anymore. It's figured out. However, status is not stability.
Right.
And I did reflect on that in episode 1. So let's hear from me and my mom.
They say it takes a village to raise a family. But what happens when you pack your bags, move country, and leave the village behind? I came to Canada in 2014 as a student, and I became a citizen in 2019, and a mom in 2020. And I did everything right. But in that moment, it wasn't enough. Your status does not equal stability. But in real life, stability for many people is support, is community, are people. I'm your host, Christina McPherson, and yes, we are featuring immigrant mothers in this series. My child is an immediate relative, my spouse is an immediate relative, but my mother is not an immediate relative in their definition. At the 6-month mark, my mom would have to leave Canada, and I decided then that if she's leaving, so too am I, because I need my village, I need my people.
I would like lots of people to be here. We could make a line, and whoever turn it is every day gets to play with me with the whole entire day.
The immigrant experience, it doesn't end after you become a permanent resident or a citizen. It only changes.
Inside my heart is like, she's not going to be in close proximity. I've always said in my life, if my children were to be away from me, I must be able to get in my car and drive there.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So powerful.
And I think that line from my mom hits differently now that I'm a mother.
Right.
Right? I understand it now way more than I did when I was leaving. I didn't think about my mom or how are these people going to feel? Like, it's me that is feeling all the feels because my thing was rejected. And I don't want my daughter to just be okay somewhere in the world. And that's how my parents feel. Like, I want to be able to get in the car and be there for her. I want proximity. And that's the future I am trying to build now that my eyes are, the rose-colored glasses are ripped off. And immigration complicates proximity sometimes. And there was this one thing that my mom also said. We didn't include it there, but she said, I had to accept the fact that you had to be away. Why is this normal?
Right.
Why? Why did you have to accept that? I got up and said, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Not for any, of course I had my own reasons, but no. Do you think children fully, and do you think children fully understand when parents talk about support, sometimes what they really mean is proximity? And who was around for you as a immigrant child?
I think back then, it wasn't talked about. I think now it's more accessible now to talk about. Right. So, talking about immigration and all that stuff, I think it's now on children's shows, you see there's multicultural of different things. Right. So I think it has evolved, but still, I think children don't really fully understand. For me, it wasn't really talked about. Right. For something like that. So my parents were here, my grandparents were, everyone basically was here so part of my village, so there was everyone there for me, but I never knew their story. I never knew their village that they left behind. Right?
Yeah. Which reminds me of Chantel's episode, actually. That was episode 3.
Sandwichers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she said, I asked her, what's one thing that, you know, it's normalized that isn't so normal? And she said, I didn't know my grandparents. My cousins don't know my grandparents too.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. Why is that normal? It's kind of weird.
It's weird.
So now the children, right? He's not, you know, a little child, you know, but he's an adult now. But you can hear from him, you were almost unaware. It was like this thing that was happening. You were in it, but fish don't know they live in water.
Right.
Right. And so now you're out, you can reflect. You're like, oh, there's water around.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way now, having watched this series?
I do, yeah. And like hearing different stories on like how they left their village behind. Definitely eye opener for sure.
And if you have children one day, or you have your nephews, you can talk to them about, you know, this is our lineage. This is what the people had to do to get you to be here.
Right.
And we can sign them up for RESPs and RDSPs.
And not just about iPads and screen time.
No, and 2-day Amazon shipping.
We have it lucky.
Yeah, yes, right? So children feel the move too. And we hear that from my daughter and also from Chantel's daughter, Kay. So let's hear from Ebony and Kay.
I would like lots of people to be here, because if lots of people are here at the same time, that's a part of my family. It can even be my cousin, anybody. If they're here, anytime they could play with me. Each one of them could get turns. So every day we could make a line, and whoever turn it is every day gets to play with me the whole entire day. And the other people, since they can't play with me, they find another person to play with so that they're not lonely.
Okay, so it sounds to me like one of the main reasons why you like to have Papa and Grandma around is that you have somebody else to do activities with you or play.
Yeah, like every day we can line up. If the line finishes, we make another one.
Okay, so what is it like for you when we visit Jamaica?
It's like, I like it. It's like, it's the same, but not so many people, but I have a lot of grown-ups around me.
You like that?
Yes.
Why do you like it?
Because I have other people with me, surrounding me. They're like everywhere. Even as Nana's away, Papa's still here. Auntie's away. You 3 are here. If you are away, still 3 are here. If nobody's away, there's 5 people in the house.
Okay. And you like that?
Yes.
Around, is this just about you being lonely, or is this about the time you enjoy with Nana and
This
Papa?
is the time I enjoy with other people.
Okay.
Even if I had a sibling, they would still know Nana and Papa, right?
Yeah, both of you would have Nana or Papa.
Yeah, so if we had all of those people together and you were working, we could all play together.
Okay, got it. Do you ever wish that we move back to Jamaica?
Yes.
Interesting. Or if Nana and Papa could move to Canada?
The one I prefer most is everybody in Jamaica that's my family moved to Canada.
I see. Okay.
This is why I want to. I want them to move to Canada so that they don't have any houses in Jamaica. And when hurricanes come, it gets blown over and the roof is gone like Papa's house.
Okay.
And there's no more Papa's house, so that's why I want them to come here.
Got it.
And spend time with me.
I noticed that as well when I was younger, but I didn't vocalize it as much because I didn't know how to vocalize it. I just knew Mom was sad. Mom was sad, and Mom was like, I don't want you to see me sad.
As a mom, I don't want them feeling my pain.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that part makes me pause.
Right.
Right? Because like you, like my daughter, like Kay, they didn't sign up for this. You kind of just end up in it. And we think we're making adult decisions, you know, immigration and work and caregiving and spending money, which is adult decisions. But children are absorbing the emotional climate of these decisions. As a first generation Canadian, what does that make you think about?
It's crazy just to think, like, if my parents didn't come to Canada, what kind of life I could have had, right? You know, when my sister was younger, she's 6.5 years older than I am, and they had an opportunity when she was a baby to go to Australia. So I could have an Australian accent.
Oh, interesting.
Right? But they decided Canada was the best bet.
Yeah.
Except it's cold.
Yeah. It is cold. It is cold. And as we talk about children carrying parts of the immigration journey too, I want to pause for a moment to share a resource that may be helpful for families across Canada. Now, Kids Help Phone is free, it's confidential, it's available 24/7, and support is available by phone, by text, and online. And they offer support in over 100 languages through interpreters. And so it's not just only for moments in crisis. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not, you've heard me speak about post-immigration stress disorder, and it is the mental toll that is sometimes invisible, the mental toll of the immigration journey that is unique to immigrants, okay? And so something like this, a resource like this, if your child needs someone to talk to, if you need somebody to talk to, or if your family is navigating the emotional ups and downs of starting over in Canada, this is a resource that you can reach for. It's Kids Help Phone, and you can text the word connect. It'll come up on screen. Connect to 686868. You can't forget that, okay? We can make a jingle to it. Or you can call 1-800-668-6868.com. Right? And you can also access support online through Kids Help Phone. So that's a resource I wanted to share for you. For these things that you may not know how to navigate, there is help that's available 24/7 and in your language. Everything will come up on screen, but also linked in the description below if you are listening on podcast. Now, Alex, I think a couple of the moms that we spoke to, we learned that the village doesn't often transfer cleanly, right? And like we said, we don't know what we sign up for. We know when we know, you know? And so we're going to hear from 3 moms about how this materialized in their journey here as immigrants. So let's hear from Marie, Siobhan, and Onyeka.
You know, things get difficult. Like when I gave birth to my twins, we had actually landed in an NICU for 3 weeks. And in moments like that, you need your family because it is very, very hard mentally. Only one of them was in the NICU, not the 2 of them. And I will say I'm infinitely grateful that the way the NICU is set up here in Halifax, you can actually stay with the baby. So in the room, which is amazing. And so they gave us a spot, and our second baby could also be in the room with the one that needed the NICU care. But at that point, I also had a C-section, which means I couldn't lift my toddler. I'd never been away from him ever, and suddenly I was 3 weeks in the hospital with my twins. And yes, you know, he would come visit, like my husband or his parents would drive him, so he would stay like an hour every day. But for me to be able to go home and knowing I couldn't even lift him, I couldn't drive either, C-section, but I couldn't lift him to put him in his bed. Obviously, he was only 20 months old, so he was still like in a cot. I couldn't lift him to put him to bed. There's a lot of challenges that these are the moments where you need your people, like you need your family. So thankfully, my sister was able on short notice, 2 days notice to fly and come support. And my dad already had plans. So he actually ended up landing the day we got out of the NICU. So he was there for the very happy day of getting out of the hospital. But yeah, you need your people. I think it was probably the hardest time of my life. And you need your people, and not to take anything away from having very helpful and generous in-laws. I was very vulnerable. I just needed my family. all the things that are natural to do with your baby, feeding your baby, holding your baby, touching your baby, all of the things you can't really do easily because he was tight. He had tubes all over the place. Like I couldn't hold him without asking the nurse for help to give him to me. You can't feed him when he's hungry because he's getting fed on a schedule. And actually, for most of the time, he was getting fed through a tube through his nose. So it's just very traumatic because all of the things that you do as a mom, you cannot do in the NICU or not without help.
Right.
And asking for someone to give you your baby is just still not natural. And waiting, hearing your baby cry and knowing you cannot feed him because he needs to be fed through the tube is not natural. So all of that, very, very, very hard.
That's a good question. That's a very good question because, like you said, I came by myself initially. To complete school, and so didn't have any immediate family. I had one cousin who lived in Toronto, and at the time I lived in Scarborough and then Brampton. And so no immediate family. And then when my spouse joined me, there was just the two of us living in Hamilton. No friends. Truly, truly alone. And so, but I looked at other people and I saw that, what was clear to us was that people who have family, they have grandparents. I grew up with my grandparents. I understood the importance of having that to support and just having a community. And so that was very evident that, wow, it must be so nice that you could just drive to your parents' house and either spend time or drop your kids off. And so it was just very clear to us that exactly. And we didn't that was not our story, but it wasn't a deterrent because we realized that while we don't have biological family, we could have a family of our choice. And that's what we had, friends became sister friend, my sister, my brother, and we were very intentional about developing relationships to sort of fill that void because there was a void, being alone in Hamilton. Like I said, most of our friends are not in Hamilton, but we were very intentional of forming really authentic and close relationship with people that we would have met either through church or friends of friends, like how we met you. Just really, really intentional about that.
How does that transition feel now on the other side of motherhood for you?
Honestly, I'm actually happy I made that transition at the time that I did before becoming a mom because that would have been so hard, like being in school full time and having to deal with a kid, But looking back now, like I said, I'm grateful I did that at that time. So right now, being a new mom and having to work long shifts, like my shifts are 12 hours and I'm gone 13 hours because you have to show up earlier. And then before you drive back home, you're gone 13 hours. Honestly, because I don't know if people are aware, I went back to work like 2 months ago before my mat leave ended. I had the mom guilt. It was really hard. But right now, I think I'm getting a hang of it. Like it's sort of okay. But like I also don't have childcare. And I'm lucky enough to have a husband who works 100% from home. So I leave my child with my husband on my day shifts. So he just like powers through it and, looks after the child. And then on my nights, he looks after the baby in the evening until he goes to bed and he's asleep all night. And when I come back from work, I'm sleep deprived, but I have to like care for my baby because it's my turn now because he has to work. So that's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. And that's the part like I'm struggling with. And then even my child even having to deal with me gone that long. And especially with the fact that I'm also still nursing my child. So it's a whole lot. Yeah, but like every day I'm just trying to find ways to like get through it.
Wow. Crazy.
And I think that's one point we want to stop on here is that we talk about the village and we say, it takes a village. And some people might think that, we need a village to babysit our kids. But it's not just babysitting. It's beyond babysitting because the parents need support too. And it's the person who can show up for you without explaining everything. Like for Siobhan, And the person who knows your child, who can know when you're not okay and know, a shoulder to cry on, because the village is beyond just caring for the kids. Like, we need the village with or without kids. I think that people can relate to loneliness, whether their parents or not, as immigrants here in Canada. Now, did working on the series change how you understood the word village?
It did, because, I never used the village like verb like basically ever. Right? So using it like in this series, and like I say it every day now. It takes a village. Right? And just like thinking back the struggle like a lot of people have for right now, right? But also like how my parents did it, my grandparents, all like family, right? So it definitely changed my way of thinking of like different words.
Yeah.
Like different words have different meanings. So now village will always be remembered by Mom-Versations.
Yes. My work here is done. You said something actually before we went live about your uncles versus you as an uncle.
Yes.
Right? And even your brother.
My sister.
I know your sister is the mom,
yes.
but you have a brother.
Brother, yeah.
Right? But he's away. He's
away.
On the other side of Canada.
Yeah.
Right? And talk to me a little bit about even your decision to do this cruise ship thing, but being away from your nephews, being out because you're the village.
Yeah, I am the village for them. Like my sister and they live about 2 minutes from my house.
Aw.
Right? So,
Don't we wish we had that,
Right? And so like I'm always there constantly, right? And so my brother lives in BC, so other province, right? And then, they don't have another uncle. My brother-in-law's brother passed away, unfortunately, very suddenly. And, they never got, like, my first nephew got to meet him once. And, like, my other net has never met him. Right? So it was something that I had to take on that role as the uncle too. But, like, growing up, I was never that close with my uncles. Right? So, but they always know that I'm always there for them.
Yeah.
So.
I love that.
Right?
It reminds me of Chantel's episode actually, and even the part about the question. The thing I said is like, this is romanticized too. The village is romanticized. Right. Everything is that we think we need the village, and we do in some respect, right? But we romanticize the idea of having them here. Your uncle was here.
Right.
Your village was here. Chantel's village was here. But just because they're here, it doesn't mean that they don't have a job. It don't mean they don't have a life. They have their own kids to take care of, or sort of. Right? They have priorities that are outside of family. Not that they're more important, but everybody's juggling things.
So if I did decide to go like work on a cruise ship, then it's like, then I'm leaving them behind without any like uncle figure, right? Because my brother comes visit once in a while, doesn't come all the time.
Yeah.
Not by like choice, but it just, that's how the cards work.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's so thoughtful of you, uncle. You better be a rich uncle too, right? You gotta be. They gotta know that you're rich without you saying it. Like, I got an uncle.
Well, let go comment down below. Watch this episode. Get Christina some of that YouTube money.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I can hire him.
And
I love it.
You can hire me.
I love it.
And then we can have this dynamic duo all the time.
Yes, guys, comment below. And by the way, I think one thing that really you mentioned and stood out is that RESPs, RDSPs, new language-ish for you, and that we covered that in episode 2. And so the moving to Canada, being in Canada, it's not enough to just be here, right? His parents moved here, they're here, and they had access to the bank. The bank didn't tell them about it, right? And which is why I've made it my mission, both Adrian and I, to be part of the financial services industry, to help to educate, but also to provide you with solutions like RESPs, like RDSPs, for growing your income, for growing your wealth, so to speak, and also protecting your wealth, right? Offense and defense. And so a link will be in the description below. It will pop up on screen too. If you want to speak to myself or Adrian, who is in episode 2, go watch episode 2, about the financial solutions that are available for you and your family. You can go to astoldbycanadianimmigrants.com/financial broker and, get that money, the money that's waiting for you, that's waiting to be paid out. out, and or if you have it already, learn how to make it grow. I think Norma did share a little bit about that in one of our episodes. So go check out all the Mom-Versation episodes. There's so many gems and wisdom.
To be honest, I wish I had that link right like before, because even going to high school, never was talked about money. So
talk about Ash money.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Well, now you could be the uncle for your nephews, right?
Yes.
We can make sure that they're hooked up. All right. And so now I said that immigration coated in a paint of opportunity, but then there are the hidden trade-offs, the old paint, right? And so that's a part of this series, and the reflection is that yes, it's great. We're grateful, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand it. I wouldn't necessarily change what I did and coming here and getting my passport. Right. However, I didn't understand fully what I was signing up for, and now that I am a mom, now I'm experiencing it. I'm like, oh, what did I do? Right? So let's hear from 3 other moms about the hidden trade-offs of immigration. So let's hear from a mom who submitted her story by voice, Onyeka and Natasha again.
What I understand now is that migration isn't just one big decision. It's a continual process of rebuilding. If I could tell another mom facing a choice similar, I would say, give yourself grace. Moving for your children can be both brave and heartbreaking. And if I had to sum up my experience in one sentence, it would be this. My journey has taught me that pursuing a better future often comes with invisible sacrifices, but also profound resilience.
And you just mentioned that you went back to work early. So you're you went back before your mat leave would have finished.
Yes, I went back 2 months earlier.
Help us to understand that, because in episode 1, I did share my Mom-Versation, and I kind of pointed out a reality that I'm grateful. We are grateful, right? So we don't want anybody to misunderstand that we are grateful that there is the opportunity to have paid maternity leave here in Canada for 12 months to 18 months.
No.
However, it's 55% of your pay. Unless. So I spoke about that in episode 1, but I want you to touch on that and what drove the decision, like what the reality versus expectation of maternity leave pay, and the decision that drove you to going back early.
So I took the 12 months maternity leave, which was perfect. Like, I wish I could do 18 months, but like thinking about the pay, I'll get into that shortly. So luckily for me, where I work, they top you up until 80% of your pay for the first 6 months, which was fine, right? It was fine. And then after 6 months, like reality hits, and then you're left with only EI. And those of you who have like recent EI, you know how it can be. And given that you already have bills to pay, and then the economy is not helping things at all. So I just saw like things were getting like more expensive. I have a child now. There's more bills to pay. My the pay I was receiving like from the government wasn't cutting it. Like it wasn't enough. And like I said, I was grateful to even have EI in the first place, right? Because where I come from Nigeria, it's only 3 months, and that's it. So even to be able to like stay 10 months with my child was a blessing. But like things just got really expensive. I had bills to pay. We had like future things to plan for, and it only made sense for me to go back earlier than planned. And then I just had to make the sacrifice, right? Like, well, not just me and my husband, we had to make the sacrifice because we have things we're planning for in the future, and that just being in my EI pay wasn't going to help. And surprisingly, I even stretched it like up until 10 months, because I was actually considering going back like maybe 2 months into my EI pay. That's like 8 months.
8 months.
So I was like, let me see how I can power through. I just kept pushing and pushing. And then in like 10 months in, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I have to go back. I need to earn like my regular pay. So here I am back to work.
When you are coming, you know that there is opportunity, you know there's potential, you don't know to what extent. So you're somewhat coming in blind, and you don't know at that point the difference between support between a permanent resident and a temporary resident? Did you have to find that out on the spot?
On the spot. So when we got here, we realized we got a family doctor, which was awesome because you know how getting a family doctor was.
I know. Well, back in the day, it was a lot more achievable, I feel.
Yes. But yeah, we got a family doctor, and then he started to make us some small recommendations because of our status here. We were able to get into the Alberta Health Services. They have a program for small kids, like dietitians and physio and occupational health. So we're able to access that. But she needed more in-depth support, but we could not get it because we were temporary residents. So we had to wait a long time. And it was just recently, like last year, she was accepted into the FSCD program. So because we're temporary for so long, and then we get permanent residents, and after we get permanent residents, we had to wait almost 3 years because of the long wait list for her to be on that program, for her to get these services that she needs. So it's been a journey.
And this is where the better life conversation gets complicated.
Right.
Because yes, Canada has more systems, and yes, there may be more support in some cases, but access is not always immediate.
Yeah.
Right. And even the support that when it exists, the mother may still be paying the price in sleep, in career delay, in exhaustion, in loneliness, in having to, be away from your kid in for 13 hours.
Yeah, I can definitely relate because when I was in a car accident about 12 years ago, right, I had to stop working. So and I got income replacement, but they only give you 50% of your gross pay. And I was working part-time. Right? So that's not a lot. And then that's every 2 weeks I'm getting $100.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it's definitely I can understand their struggle and see where they're coming from. Right? So a lot of people don't know that. Right? So it's definitely one of the things that I'm I know. I know the struggle for sure.
Yeah.
Not about obviously going on mat leave, but very similar situation.
Yeah. And if I may piggyback on that story that you shared, it's because you're first generation, while you were in that season, you were able to rely on your family.
Right.
And so this is where I think even that this, like I said in the beginning, we moved here for economic better everything. Right.
For sure.
But sometimes it's not that simple. It's not that cut through. Right. What surprised you most about the trade-offs behind the scenes, having watched all the episodes?
Definitely the trade-offs. It was just going from someone that knew nothing about immigration to be oh wow, well, we talked about this on this series called Mom-Versations. Have you ever heard of it? And then just showing other people and just opening other people up to it. So I think that was one of my surprises, that I was oh, I know a lot more now than I knew before. Right? So
what do you think are some of your parents' trade-offs? What do you think that you may, of course, no conversation happened when you were little.
Yeah.
But like my daughter, like Kay probably, what can you remember seeing or experiencing about this move that they made?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw a lot of struggles too as well, but I also saw some a lot of happy memories as well. So people getting married, all that stuff. So yeah. But honestly, the struggle was the one thing I did see, but I never really understood.
Yeah. How close did you live to your grandparents?
Probably about 10-minute drive.
Okay, close. Nice.
Yeah.
And were they around a lot? What do you remember?
Yeah, I don't, because my grandpa used to drive, my grandma did not.
Okay.
So, but then he got dementia.
Okay.
And he forgot where he parked the car, and yeah. So she decided to take bus, but my parents obviously was if they're free, then, and my dad used to work at GM, so basically he just was around during the day. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I think part of we want to come full circle to ensure that we know that there's trade-offs. And I think one thing that we heard from both Chantel's episode and across the moms, Suzanne's as well, is that no matter what, whether your village was here or not, rebuilding is part of the story.
For sure.
And we have to rebuild intentionally. So let's hear from Suzanne, Siobhan, and Norma.
Yeah, I think, when we think about stability, sometimes we may think that it means that there is no change, there's constant. But when you think about life, there is no such thing. Even if you're not moving countries, there's always change happening. Whether you're moving into a new phase of your life, change of jobs, maybe you have sold your house or you need to rent a new place. There's always change. So just as though you walk through life experiencing joy and sadness even at the same time, stability can and is possible even when life is changing. And it's the structures, the routines, that you have built around you, regardless of where you are. You know, that is the stability that we have held on to.
And I guess, what have you found that has been helpful in creating that inside stability? Like what did you find that helped them to adjust when you did have to move, or in preparing to move even?
Identity. You have to have a strong sense of self, those values that you hold on to. So even when you're not around those core family members that you have grown up to know and to trust, knowing who you are and those values, it helps. And so reminding ourselves of who we are, reminding our children of who they are, it helps to say to them, even in the midst of leaving your friends, your school, your community, your church, because we are Christians, leaving everything you know and going to a new place, you will be okay, because you have us and you have yourself. And then creating routines. Tuesday nights for us is veggie nights.
Okay.
So whether we are in Canada, Jamaica, New York, it's still veggie night. It's still a Tuesday. We create family time around the dinner table. So even if we're busy and we can't have dinner together in the weekdays, we try to have that on weekends. So we try to make sure that routine is part of our lives, of our children's life. And so those structures help. Even when things are moving, you still can rely on certain things. Prayers together, those are things that we do, and so it helps.
Now, before we continue to the next clip, I did want to take a minute to gently let you know that the next conversation is going to include things of our sensitive topics like reproductive trauma, miscarriage, and loss. And if this subject is tender to you, I do want you to take care of yourself and know that you can pause, you can step away, or skip ahead to the next chapter if this topic is too sensitive for you. We are sharing this part with care because many women carry this experience, and it is part of the Mom-Versation as well, and we want to honor that reality without forcing anyone to sit if it's not something that's comfortable with you. So we're going to hear from Siobhan, but take care of yourself if this topic is too sensitive for you.
The loss was quite devastating, and it was traumatic. It was traumatic because it would have been my first exposure to a healthcare system that I trusted.
Okay.
First world, So I thought, I'll get the best possible care, and didn't feel like that's what happened.
Okay.
And so when it happened, at 20 weeks, so they called it spontaneous abortion.
Okay.
Of course, when you're pregnant, even though like statistics says 1 in 4 women are gonna have a miscarriage. 1 in 4. And at the time, you don't even consider, these things happen, but it's not going to happen to you because, you never imagine, there's no space to make for this idea that this thing is going to happen. And so when it did happen, and it was so devastating, and like you say, just how much silence sort of surrounds reproductive trauma. What I learned was how common it was through stories.
Yeah.
Stories from other women, who would have been excited for us and learn that, oh, it happened to me too. Oh, it happened to me too. And on and on. Those were the stories that I was hearing, that, you know what, you are not alone, Siobhan and Chris.
Right.
You guys are not alone, because we've experienced this too. Was
Yeah.
it comforting? At the time, I'm not even sure if it was comforting, but at least I knew that, well, other people have walked this journey.
Yeah.
Other people have walked this journey. Chris and I clung to each other. And I think that space where there was a lot of honesty about what we were feeling, the pain, and we were able to share in that together. One member of my village, a close friend who's like a sister, just walked with me through that. Like, this was a space I could just go and say the most outrageous things, really be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So it wasn't everybody. It couldn't have been everybody.
No, yeah.
Because while I know that communities where healing happens, people's understanding of miscarriages, especially if you have never, some may not have known, some may not have, because you haven't seen a body, it's hard to connect. And there's questions about, is the grief legitimate? And so there's an uncertainty about how to respond to this invisible loss, because you never met the person, never met my baby.
Okay, back home, I'm already so interested in investing.
Okay.
So I did not have money there because it's from mouth to mouth, yeah? But my friends, they are rich. So what I did was to let them invest with my thoughts, right? And I shared to them what stocks is good. And I have my cousin who is an economist, and he gave me some tips. He's also in the investing world, and actually he's very good at what he does. So he shared some tips to me, and I shared it to my friends. So that made me interested, because when you invest 100 and then it became 200, wow, that's something. So that's what I did here. When I arrived here in Canada, I bought a book called How to Invest $5.
Oh, okay.
And see it grow.
Oh.
$5, that's Starbucks money.
Yeah.
I followed that.
Yes.
Save, invest, and also buy our house. And I have a daughter.
Yes.
To finance the schooling.
Yes.
So what we did was 10% goes to the giving.
Yes.
20% to our savings.
Yeah.
And we only spend 70%. But that does not limit us from enjoying life. We still go on vacation,
You gotta live, right?
Yes.
You work hard for your money. You gotta live a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how we did it. Save, give, and invest.
Now, Alex, you heard from Suzanne, from Siobhan, from Norma. And I think sometimes the answer to this immigration mystery that hasn't been normalized may not be let's move to a better country necessarily, or let's move for better. And sometimes that's the case, sometimes that is the case. But maybe the answer is, once you move, you have to build better on purpose.
Right.
Because better can exist wherever.
Yeah.
And it's not a country that is going to meet you at the airport and say, okay, here is a silver platter of a better life. Eat from it, feast. Right? You have to build your village on purpose. You have to build the money habits on purpose. Norma spoke about that. You have to build your routines on purpose, build your relationships on purpose, and build your support system before life gets heavy. What's your take on that?
There's a lot. Yeah, definitely. Just, do a little bit more research if you want to, before you romanticize coming to a different country, think of how much it's going to cost, but also, can I achieve that? Can I actually do this, right? And if the answer is yes to all, then absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was actually featured in an article just this week. The Immigrant Life. And she says this journey requires some degree of like being delusional.
Right.
And sometimes we need that. Sometimes knowing everything might like talk us out of it.
Yes.
And but I think that knowing what the journey could look like you said, do your research, and watching this channel is very productive. I'm going to tell you that, right? It is research. It is seeing immigration through the lens of people who are 10 steps ahead of you, or 12, or even 1 year ahead of you, right? I'm 12 years in, and I have all this wisdom that I'm sharing with you, this network that I'm sharing with you. And so you can tune in here on Ask by Canadian Immigrants. Subscribe. It's helpful for us, but also for you to be able to be notified. Turn that notification bell on when a new episode drops. Now, Alex, we're going to land the plane here. When I started this series, I thought I was exploring immigrant motherhood. And we did. We absolutely did. But now I think that it's really about family systems after immigration. The children, the uncles, everybody, the dads. We're not leaving the dads out. And by the way, just stay tuned. We will have that conversation with dads. This episode is actually, to honor the guests that were going to be here as well today, who are having to be battling health challenges, a mom and dad who are now, battling health challenges and couldn't be here today. But life after immigration, the paperwork may end, PR may come, citizenship may come, the job may come, the house even may come, but rebuilding continues. And that's what I've heard from every mom that we've spoken to. And maybe the real question is not only did immigration give us a better life, but did we know what kind of life, or do we know what kind of life we are trying to build now that we have moved here? Now that we're here in Canada, what's that better that we are trying to achieve? Because being here isn't the end of the story. Physically present at this geographic location is not the end of the story. Because a better life isn't just income, not just its support, it's rest, it's proximity, Uncle Alex. It's being able to show up. It's the parents who are not carrying everything alone. My mom is here right now. Oh, praise the Lord, right? She can cook, by the way. The village is here, right? It's knowing when to ask for help. It's protecting your family, and it's rebuilding your village. And it is making decisions that are with more awareness than survival alone allows. Alex, what's one thing this series made you see differently?
It made me see a lot of different people coming together for one melting pot, basically. But also it really taught me to see different people struggle. Because as a first generation Canadian, I've never had to do that, right? So having different people's stories and talking about their village definitely was an eye opener for me.
Yeah. I like that you shared that. I think it humanizes this very what's the word? Immigration. What do you say? What kind of word is that? Institutional? I don't know. Whatever that word is, but it brings it back down to human basic. Yeah.
People change people.
People. It's the people.
Yeah.
People are behind all these decisions. Now, if you've only watched one episode and that was this episode and you just saw the clips of the other ones, can you go back and watch the entire series? So many gems. And what I appreciate about your perspective is that it opened up your eyes to the real life struggles, but also the victories behind immigration. We heard from Norma, who came with $100 and managed to retire in her 50s just the same. So it's not just struggle, right? There's the rebuilding, there's the good parts as well. And every conversation reveals another layer of what it really means to rebuild and build life here in Canada. So go back and watch the entire Mom-Versations series. Yes. We have so many people to thank for this series. I want to thank the Media Hub here at Durham College for this beautiful space and the opportunity to have done this. The staff here in the Media Hub, Dan, Eldon, and Justin, and Megan. Megan, yeah. And also my placement students. So there's Josh, there's Jaden, there's, you should be like videoing them behind the screen, like putting their hands up. There's Josh, there's Jaden. Oh, take a picture of taking a picture. There's Alex and there's Zach. And of course, their placement coordinator, Patrick Hunt. Thank you so much for, responding and getting this all set up.
But there's one person that we have to thank.
Oh.
You, Christina. So I have a little gift for you.
Okay.
That
I've been told I gotta open it here. So.
If I can get the.
Oh snap. Okay, so fancy. It's got my name on it. You know that my love language is gifts.
It's the Mom-Versations colors.
No way. Thank you, Mom-Versations. This is so thoughtful. Oh, and a Tim Hortons card. What? Christina, thank you for inviting me to be a part of your village. Oh, I've seen and learned so much in the short 7 weeks that we started together, and we'll never forget it. So thank you from Alex. I appreciate that so much,
there's
Alex.
A little gift in there.
And I gotta do something. Oh, you're lying. I love it. Hey, talk about ready. Okay, you are too nice. I love this. I live for this. This is gonna be like on my shelf every episode that you guys watch now on YouTube. This is gonna be in the background, so and this is where it came from. I appreciate you. This is very thoughtful, very kind. I really even my logo is on here. Oh, cameraman Alex, Josh, Jaden, Zach. I love it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate it. I love this. So thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for thanking me as well.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure having you Gen Zs and Zennials on my team. It was fun. The guests, thank you to all of our guests, and I would call them by name, but we have a beautiful clip that Alex created to show you the guest lineup and everybody who had participated in Mom-Versations. But also Alicia, there's some behind the scenes people who are in different provinces. Alicia, Siobhan / Elizabeth, she uses anyone, and Shauna.
Yes.
Right? Lots of people behind the scenes to put this whole thing together. So thank you to everybody, and thank you so much for this beautiful gift. I love it. Please don't forget, you can follow the Media Hub on social media at DCSA Media Hub, and you can also follow us at As Told by Canadian Immigrants. It's right here, actually. As Told by, I don't know if you can read it. No, it's okay. It'll come up on screen.
Yeah.
As Told by Canadian Immigrants on all social platforms. And if you can't find us there, on our website, astoldbycanadianimmigrants.com will be the central hub to everything. Thank you again for joining us, not just today, but for the entire series. The other episodes will pop up on screen somewhere where you can just go watch them at the end. So thanks again for joining us. I appreciate it. This was great. This was Mom-Versations. As Told by Canadian Immigrants, live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca. You can continue watching the whole Mom-Versations series right here to tune into honest conversations about motherhood and that whole layer of immigration that makes motherhood so much more, identity, immigration, and starting over here in Canada.